Donald Trump has said he will absolutely invite Kim Jong-un to the White House after saying they developed a very special bond during their summit in Singapore. He also predicted that denuclearization would happen very quickly. After concluding a meeting that stretched to 4.5 hours, the two leaders signed a document said to underscore their accomplishments during an encounter the US president said had gone better anybody could have expected. "We're very proud of what took place today," said Mr. Trump, sitting with the North Korean leader to his right-hand side. "We have developed a very special bond." For his part, Mr. Kim said, "The world will see a major change." After concluding the meeting that appeared nothing less than impossible just a few months ago, Mr. Kim left the Singaporean island of Sentosa, where their meeting took place. Mr. Trump stayed on to prepare for his own press conference with the US media. While there were no immediate details of the document they signed, Mr. Trump said it was comprehensive and that its contents would be made public shortly. "People are going to be very impressed, and people are going to be very happy, and we are going to take care of a very dangerous problem for the world," said the US president. Asked whether he would invite Mr. Kim to the White House, Trump said, "Absolutely, I will." The AFP said the joint text document signed by the two leaders commits the US to security guarantees and promises the establishment of new US-DPRK relations. In the same document, Kim Jong-un commits to the complete denuclearization of Korean Peninsula. The news agency broke the news after zooming in on the document Mr. Trump held up.Singapore summit. Historic first meeting between Trump and Kim Jong-un. 20 show all Singapore summit. Historic first meeting between Trump and Kim Jong-un. 1/20th Mr. Trump and Mr. Kim leave following their historic meeting. AFP Getty 2/20ths Mr. Trump and Mr. Kim sign a document committing to peace between their nations, amongst other things. EPA 3/20ths Mr. Trump holds up a document that both he and Mr. Kim have signed. AFP Getty 4/20ths the two leaders reach out to shake hands for the first time. AP 5/20ths Mr. Trump and Mr. Kim shake hands as they meet for the first time. Reuters 6/20ths Mr. Trump and Mr. Kim walk off stage following their historic meeting. Reuters 7/20ths Mr. Trump and Mr. Kim take a stroll after their meeting on June 12. Reuters 8/20ths Mr. Trump and Mr. Kim interrupt their stroll to talk to the media. AP 9/20ths Mr. Kim and Mr. Trump look out over a balcony at the Capella Hotel, where they held their meeting on June 12. Reuters 10/20ths Mr. Trump takes questions at the press conference following his meeting with Mr. Kim. AP 11/20ths Mr. Trump appreciates the crowd in the press conference following his meeting with Mr. Kim. Getty 12/20ths Mr. Trump travels to the Istana ahead of the summit with Kim Jong-un on June 12. Reuters 13/20ths Kim Jong-un travels to the Istana ahead of the summit with President Trump on June 12. Reuters 14/20ths Mr. Kim poses for a photo with Singapore's Finance Minister Vivian Balakrishnan and Education Minister Ong Ye Kung ahead of the summit with Mr. Trump. Twitter Reuters 15/20ths Mr. Trump shakes hands with Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong. Meeting on Monday, June 11 in the Istana, Singapore's presidential palace. AP 16/20ths at a working lunch on Monday, Singapore's Prime Minister surprised Mr. Trump with a birthday cake in early celebration of his 72nd birthday. Later in the week, EPA 17/20ths US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo answers questions about the summit at a press briefing in Singapore on Monday, June 11. Getty 18/20ths US President Donald Trump arrives at the Paya Lebar Air Base in Singapore on June 10, 2 days prior to his summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Reuters 19/20ths Mr. Trump and Mr. Kim met on Tuesday, June 12 in the Capella Hotel on the island resort of Sentosa, just off the south coast of Singapore. AFP Getty 20/20ths Mr. Trump boards Air Force One following the summit. AFP Getty Mr. Trump, who just months ago threatened to totally destroy North Korea, said the man he had just spoken to was very smart and a very worthy, very hard negotiator. I learned he's a very talented man. I also learned that he loves his country very much. He said. Reuters reported that as the two men walked through the gardens of the Capella Hotel, they walked Mr. Trump's bulletproof limousine, nicknamed the Beast, and looked in at the rear seat, with Mr. Trump apparently showing Mr. Kim something inside. They then resumed their walk. Mr Trump said of his time with Mr. Kim, "We spent a lot of time together. A lot of intensive time. This is going to lead to more and more and more. It is an honor to be with you."